I am Arinze Prosper Emegako. I am from Nigeria, but I've been living in Sweden for the past 10 years. And I am the founder of Akoko.
Can you tell a little bit about this Akoko, the company?
Akoko, yes, Akoko. Akoko, okay, actually Akoko means story or storytelling in Igbo language of eastern part of Nigeria, where I was born and raised up. And so what we do in Akoko is that we design premium bamboo socks with African pride. We want to use, or we are using socks as a tool to tell stories of Africa and that of people of African descent.
Can you first? I would like to know exactly. You said that you're using is bamboo.
Yeah, bamboo.
How does it work to use this kind of material to make it?
Well, it's actually a very sustainable alternative to wool and cotton and other materials used in textile today. Bamboo fiber is, apart from the environmental benefits, which is it requires less water, less irrigation. You know, bamboo is like weed, it grows on itself, and it's one of the fastest growing plants in the world. So that's why we chose that, because we want to be environmentally friendly. We want to take care of the environment. Yeah, and apart from the environmental benefits, it breeds, you know. Socks and products, textile made of bamboo, they are very breathable, which means it's suitable for warm climate and also for cold climate. And it has also antibacterial qualities. It smells less. So when I use like the...
Can I just one day I would like to see, and are we going to talk about the pricing and everything?
Yeah, we could.
How did you start the company? How the company starts?
Well, it's a long story, but I will try to be clear as possible. It's actually a kind of a personal journey, my journey. First and foremost, I've always worn colorful socks, bright ones, and some of them have things like maybe hamburger or whatever on them. So people normally ask me, whoa, cool socks, where did you get them? What is the story behind it? So I started thinking, what if I can actually use my socks as a moment of enlightenment, as a moment to tell stories, as a conversation starter. That's how the idea came. I've had this idea for more than 10, 15 years, but I have not had the resources or met the right people or be able to put up a right team to get it started. So it's been a long time coming. And also this aspect of me as a black male in Africa, in Europe, yeah, an African man in Europe, I have, you know, I never want to have like a negative attention. So I have kind of mastered the act of navigating the society unnoticed. So I've held back long enough. So this is actually a kind of my way of marking my presence, of making my presence known. Right? It is bright, bold, non-conforming, and it's a statement. You know, it's kind of literally taking a piece of motherland to any room. You know, so
when you tell that you tell stories from the socks or from the product that you're producing. Describe, how do you tell the story? How the story is being told?
Okay. For instance, because you know, this issue of single story, which creates stereotype. I'm trying to quote Chimamanda Adichie, but yeah, it creates stereotypes. So that is that our stories have not been told by us; they have been told by someone else, right? So what we are doing at this point is actually using Akoko, the platform, our social media, the website, to tell stories, real stories of people of Africa and of the continent, you know, to correct some of these stereotypes. One of the practical way is like on this packaging of socks. It's the design inspired by Ogene. This image now, it is a musical instrument. It's a gong, you know. It's a gong, right?
Ah,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a gong. It's a
right.
gong, yeah.
Okay.
It's a gong. It's a musical instrument, very common and popular in my culture, but also it is used to call for gatherings in the villages, right? The town crier goes around with a gong and plays and then announce the venue of a gathering and the time. So that's why I actually chose to use it as the first collection, to call people to our various platforms to tell these stories and have all these conversations. And you know, when you look at the packaging, right, there's a poem written by a young Nigerian writer, Marvel Chukwudepafel, right? So his poem is on all of these socks from our organic collection. So it's a poem about, so actually what you do when you buy the socks, you can rip this off and you can save this as a story card.
Okay.
So we're telling stories just with the product. So imagine you walk into a room, you're having one of our socks and someone say, wow, cool socks, what are those? And then you say, yeah, it's actually from Akoko. And then you say Akoko means storytelling in Igbo language, and this design is inspired by Ogene. Do you know that Ogene is an instrument used to call for gathering? So we want to get people curious enough to search, you know, for the stories and other aspects of Africa that you will not see on the big media.
Right, very interesting.
Yeah.
And especially this combination of using the product socks plus this literature poem.
The poem,
really,
yes.
really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you get the material to produce this?
Oh,
here in Europe,
no.
Where did you get this product?
Okay, actually, the idea to use bamboo started from, you know, I'm a concrete engineer by profession. So I was working on a project in Nigeria. So when they send me pictures, I see a lot of holes on the wall, right? And then I asked, why is that? They said they use bamboo as a scaffolder, you know, to you know, and I was like, but why don't we use like the normal metal scaffolder that is reusable, right? And I had one of my comrades, one of my contacts do a research, because I kind of thought, well, maybe I will go into a business where I have a design of scaffold, have it locally made in Nigeria by welders, and then rent it out to people. And then during the course of the research, you know, I found out that why people insist on using bamboo is that bamboo is readily available, it is cheap, right? So I looked into and found out that there has been also a federal government research on bamboo, and it stated that 85% of the bamboo we have in Nigeria is underused. We use only the 15% in scaffolding and then use it as wood for cooking. So I started thinking, you know, because if we want to bring about change, we have to move from this level of exporting raw materials and just consumption to export and processing, right? The next stage. So I started looking into bamboo as an alternative for textile. So that's why I decided to use bamboo Normally, I would have loved to go down to Africa and start processing bamboo for textile and actually start the company production unit there. But I don't have the resources. But I want to start somewhere.
Because that's exactly what's supposed to be my question. If you are planning to do this kind of product in Africa,
yes,
just to be known that there is availability of resources. You're talking the bamboos right there, for example, in Nigeria,
right?
And then you were here. If you're thinking to produce there, you already said about the resources. You don't have enough resources, but what you thinking one day to have like a factory in Nigeria where all this produce is available, and then what is needed as well, this kind of products in Africa?
Yeah, like when I was doing writing my business plan, it's one of my long-term goal, you know, but we have to start somewhere. Right now, I have not seen a socks knitting company in sub-Saharan Africa. I would like to do that, but I want to have a first-hand experience of bamboo material, the one that I made. So right now I'm producing in Bangladesh in collaboration with a Mamo-based company that went to that in Bangladesh now started a sustainable socks knitting unit over there. So the plan is at the long run, maybe in 5 years time, to start looking into processing African bamboo for textile and eventually have the socks knitting in Africa. It doesn't have to be in Nigeria per se, but somewhere in motherland, because that's when we can actually impact and empower people. It will create job, it will give the farmers, the cooperatives value for their product, you know, as opposed to some other products like cocoa, where Africa produce like I don't know the percentage, but the revenue we get is like 2% of the whole, so it's ridiculous. So these are the things that goes on in my head.
How is the response of the product that you're using from the clients that you have got since you started?
Oh my goodness, I feel really like accomplished. Not financially yet, but the response, the customer experience, you know, when people actually buy and use this product, they send me like amazing feedback, like this is the most cozy socks I ever have. Some people say the colors are so empowering. People say the storytelling, the deepness of that it's actually really nice to see a company that is starting right. We are actually focusing on the social issues as opposed to just profit, right? So what we intend to do now is to show that there are other ways to run business that will be profitable also, but you don't have to exploit anyone in order to make business or in order to make profit. So the response has been great, tremendous.
That's nice. Now let me ask the challenge that you are facing. You already started in the beginning telling that being here in Europe is one black man doing this kind of business. And on the cards, what you were telling me about some of the challenge. But I would like to know what exactly challenge that you're facing to run your company to make it bigger than where we left.
Yeah, personally, I will talk about my personal challenges, but I will also make it a little bit general, because I've been speaking with other black entrepreneurs, especially here in Scandinavia. My personal experience, the first company I started was an entertainment company. Lack of informations were not readily accessible, right? The grants, the support system, you have to actually search for it in order to find them, right? And then secondly, lack of representation. When the first time I went to the institutions, government institutions that were in place to support startups, I felt like they didn't really understand my needs. I felt like the policies and the help that are there are not necessarily tailored for someone like me, okay? There's another one. And also when you know, our social capital, right? The network we have, because I like to say your network is directly proportional to your net worth, right? It's who do you know? Me as a black man here doing business, I don't have ex-classmates who are bank managers, or a friend whose sibling is a purchase manager, you know. So that limitation, that you don't really know people, you don't have enough network to push your product through, that's a big challenge. But I am working towards that, networking, socializing, knocking at doors and knocking continuously to have them open. And one more thing is also stereotypes, you know. There is this expectations, very low expectations of businesses, black-owned businesses, that we don't have quality and stuff like that. The services are not like standard, you know.